Ladies and gentlemen, the RRT Boxing Show, Season 4, Episode 1 and 5, 4, 3, 2. Thank you, folks. Thanks for tuning in to the RRT Boxing Show. I'm your host, Mr. A. For you who already subscribed, thank you for your time and support. And if a new viewer somehow came across this, whether you're, hopefully that'd be nice if it was shared. If it's shared, thank you for spreading that word. Or you're just a new viewer who stumbled across it, thank you for your time and support as well. Hopefully you become a subscriber or checked in at the front desk, as we say here in the Boxing Rehab, the RRT Boxing Show. Today we are talking about the main subject of the show is going to be the recap of the 20th Ramirez and Hooker, that weekend of the fight. I believe it was the 20th. We're going to discuss some boxing topics, and then we'll finish the show with my thoughts on Mr. A's thoughts on the whole Dylan White. Now, the boxing topics right here on the RRT Boxing Show. For you new viewers, before we just start talking about the topics, quick little rundown of the show. When I wasn't crunched for time and the show was pumping out more, we could probably got to do more shows instead of the segments, but this is the whole show. But the show is about best fight the best, 1 through 15. We talk about the belts as they climb the journey. So if you like boxing, that's why we call it the Boxing Junkie Rehab, the RRT Boxing Show. You know, we talk about so-called bums as they get their title shots, and then so at least it's boxing. It's boxing talk, the RRT Boxing Show. You ready talk boxing. So that's what the show is about. Best fight the best. Champions are champions. 1 through 15. We talk about boxing. And now, boxing news. As my friend Boxing Square says, news and reviews. If you know who that name, or go look it up, Boxing Square. Go subscribe to him. I like that guy. Thank you, my friend. News and reviews. We're going to talk some boxing talk. The news that strike me hot, I like hearing, was Bivol saying Canelo at 168. He's been saying that for a while now. It's not like this just came out as a quick little, hey, let me throw my name in the money hat for a cash grab. He's been saying I dropped down to 168 for a fight, you know, and all of a sudden Canelo moves up to 168. Now it just happened to be all this networking, and that's the shit. Like that's where he's kind of trapped. Is, hey, I only got you, Canelo. Shit. It's not like you're moving up to 168. I said I moved down to 168. You know, my champions in my division are fucking on contracts of other networks. You know how that shit goes. You know, I need a fight. You don't have no one to fight. I am a champion. It's like, I am definitely down with that. I think that is a good ass fight. You know, the way I see the fight, you know, Canelo is probably, you know, the better, flashier, the fighter, more, I guess you could say, to the eyeball, maybe more skillful punch combination. You know, look like they could do more, while Bivol has that same nice European 1-2-1-2, 1-2-1-2. But it's so simple, but he does it so good. We never really seen Bivol too trouble with his spacing. You know, he did have a few fights, but where's his resume? Bivol. We could pull it up real fast. I don't recall Bivol being in too much of a threat in a fight to really. It's a good test. Not saying Canelo's gonna test his ass, but that distance is gonna be a good. Is it simple enough to stop Canelo? You know, or is Canelo gone? How would that fight go? Do you think Canelo will play the back foot and make Bivol overreach? You know, or will Bivol play the distance game and make Canelo try to commit to something and just keep him on the outside of the jab? You know, you would think. See, I don't even know the fucking high. I don't feel like digging into that. We'll talk about that on the future, another episode. Stay tuned. If that subject right there, if that fight really interests you, I'll do another little video, the segment, Mr. A's thoughts on the Bivol Canelo fight, because I think that is hot news. If you also want to stay tuned, you know, because on that video at 160, we're just going to talk about Bivol dropping down to 168. Him, Caleb Plant, Canelo, Smith. That's why he wants to drop down to 168. Canelo just happened to enter the pool. Caleb Plant, fucking Smith. Can you imagine Bivol and Smith? You know, like I said, he got Plant, Smith, Benavidez, but Bivol and Smith. That is a good ass boxing match, but it'd be a fight that no one gives a fuck about right now, to be honest. Like, oh, Bivol versus Smith. I know that's a good ass fight, but just like trying to bring, unless you know that right there, that fight right there would have to be put in a boxing. No way in hell that's the zone fight. Trying to sell that in the United States, it's gonna have to be on a card. Eddie's gonna have to put some magic together to make Bivol and Callum Smith a fucking fight in the States. That's, if Eddie could do that, okay. Cause it's a good fight, but selling that shit, that's sad. But like I said, tune into the Double RT Boxing Show if you wanna hear more about Bivol dropping down to the 168. Tune in for Mr. A's thoughts on that. That will be discussed, because that is a hot topic. And there was one more thing. Yes, and this one caught my eye. I was like, okay, that is nice that Danny Jacobs had been called out by Matt Kobarov. Now this is a fight that you can say, is it like, what is it called? What's that shit called? It's a checkmate time or something. It's like, it's time to check your shit for Daniel Jacobs, man. Like, you know, Kobarov needs this fight. You know, that draw with Aleem wasn't quite convincing. You know, was it a robbery? Did he win it? I believe it was a draw. You know, Daniel Jacobs hasn't been quite there, showing that he's been in the next gear to fucking get a fight. You know, he's been like very just pasting through fights, especially in Canelo, talking a lot of shit. And it seemed like he could have done more. Like I said, easy for us to say it on the outside, but that's what we're doing. The Ready Talk Boxing Show. What the fuck are we going to do? Just talk from what we see from the outside. So yes, that's what we're saying. Seemed like he can do more. You know, we say, oh, AB needs to let his hands go. It seems like Daniel Jacobs needs to let his hands go. You know, especially like, I'm gonna whoop that motherfucker's ass. You know, people forget how much he was talking that shit. The Miracle Man was fucking talking a blessing of an ass whooping on Canelo. You know, you got to add that factor in. You know, it's the Ready Talk Boxing Show. That motherfucker was talking. It didn't do shit. So this is like, if Daniel Jacobs does not do well and beat Kobarov, it's just like what you say, gatekeeper test. It is gatekeeper time for Daniel Jacobs. Is, you know, how close is he, or is he still there? You know, Daniel Jacobs and Rob Brandt, is that what we're looking at? Daniel Jacobs and, you know, Daniel Jacobs, these are the names probably Daniel Jacobs has to fight. Daniel Jacobs and the WBA number 2 Daniel Jacobs, and number 2 Daniel Jacobs by the WBA versus number 3 Jeff Horn in Sydney, Australia. Bank. Roll that fucking money. Now, boxers talk about it's a business. Why don't you take your ass worldwide and make that business with Jeff Horn? I've been staying here for about 2 seasons now on the Double RT Boxing Show. People who talk about business, those motherfuckers need to fight Jeff Horn. Fight Jeff Horn in Australia. Man, you're gonna get a shitload of money, man. You're gonna get some pay-per-view rights. You're gonna get some fucking ticket. You're gonna get a lot of shit if you fight Jeff Horn. I said, I said that Charlo should have fought him. Kell Brook should have fought him. That would have been a fight. Kell Brook and Jeff Horn, that would have been a moneymaker right there. But is that what we're going to see? Danny Jacobs? Danny Jacobs versus... fuck, I was going to say poor Jason Quigley. Number 6. Golden Boy Stephen Butler on the zone. You know? We're going to see Hassan Nadam. How about match... Wait, is he Matchroom? I'm not even sure. What is Liam Williams? I'm not even sure. Is Liam Williams? Damn, but we're going to see Liam Williams and fucking Daniel Jacobs. Liam Williams been looking for that big next fight. He's been looking for that next world level type shit. And what belt did he just win? Liam Williams just won like a Intercontinental. Was it a WBC or something? He's number 10 in the WBC. So Daniel Jacobs is number 2. Hey, maybe Daniel Jacobs might pick him as a fucking stepping stone, and that'd be Liam Williams' fucking chance to do something. You know? What are we gonna see from Daniel Jacobs if he don't take that Kobarov fight? Or maybe, let's see, where's he at in the WBO? Nowhere. The IBF, number 5. With Saul as the champ, you know he ain't getting that fight no time soon. Golovkin, number 3, he ain't getting that no time soon. Kamal Saramente, Patrick Sisowski, Flasinko, Jack LaVey, Stephen Butler. Where we gonna see Daniel Jacobs? WBA, Saul. You got Rob Brandt, Jeff Horn. Now, like I said, if he wants to go across seas, make some fucking international money, that's there for him. He has the name to fucking bank on international money. Daniel Jacobs, he has a nice personality. He comes across foreign television very well. He presents himself well. He speaks well. So to make a brand new brand for himself internationally, I think he'll fucking skyrocket. To be honest, he like I said, he has the talent to definitely beat probably their regional champions if he wants to do that. But like I said, in doing so, he will have to fight these guys that have built it for him. Jeff Horn in Australia, that's a worldwide fight, kind of. It'll get that attention. You know, like, oh shit, the American Daniel Jacobs is going down to Australia. Kind of not as hot as Pacquiao, but I think Daniel Jacobs' name, it'll do some international sport buzz. Or going to Japan to fight Murata after he just fought Brandt that way. That will definitely strike a buzz. So it's there for Daniel Jacobs, the Miracle Man, to make some fucking international fame, some money, some business. It's there for a lot of fighters if they want to take these fights. But where, like I said, where are we going to see Daniel Jacobs if he doesn't fight Kobarov? And I don't see, we're number 12 by the WBC, 14 by the WBA. So he is deep behind Daniel Jacobs. See, right here on the RRT Boxing Show, the Ready Talk Boxing Show, for you new viewers who, like, what's the show, who's about, like I said, hopefully this was shared to you, or, you know, it was, you stumbled across it. Thank you for still being here. Now, you know, for you who already tuned in and know you checked in the front desk, the boxing junkie you are, you know what, we're going to talk that boxing. Matthew Kobarov at number 12, 14. This, as well, Jamal is now in the WBC, but as the, what is it, Rob Brandt, the regular champion? These are the people Rob Brandt should be fighting. Well, who now is Murata, the regular champion. He should be fighting Kobarov, next title defense as a voluntary, because he beat the regular champion, so he gets a voluntary defense. He should battle, somewhere in the bottom. He's gonna choose. He's gonna choose his next fight, maybe even a lower level regional Japanese fighter. But if it goes the way it should, Murata's next fight should be somewhere number 15, Carlos Gongora, 11, Dave Ponpat. I've seen the Ponpat before. Carlos Monroe, number 10. Being on top rank goes international. They have no problem getting these international fighters. With ESPN, they grab you, they grab your ass quick. So that's where we went a little off topic. I get it, but like I said, for you new viewers on the show, that's what we kind of do. They're like, hey, shit, Magic Korbarov being number 14. Hold on, he's out there calling Daniel Jacobs up so high. But that's just a quick little segment of what we talk about. That those regular champions, they should be fighting those guys to build themselves up like 2 or 3 times and then get a unification with the super champ and then start the cycle all over again. The regular champion goes vacated, top 2 and 5 fight for you. You know what I mean? That's how it's similar to it, just boxing fans don't kind of, we see it as bullshit. Like, what the fuck is that belt for? It kind of works. It just, they don't pump it up the right way what they're doing with it. But like I said, the belt system works. The RRT boxing show, Mr.A loves the fucking belt system. The internationals, the continentals, tune in and keep tuning into the RRT boxing show. We always talking belts. So if you're a new viewer and you hate the belts, maybe your boxing ass junkie might get tuned in and you'll understand the belt system. The best I can explain it in the best way I think it works. We're gonna get into that. It does pump up the 15 that we talk about, the best fight the best, number 1 through 15. The belt system does pump it up, and eventually you see them get to there. It's a cool system, good for the boxing junkie. So if you're lost in the sauce with the belts, it helps. Tune in. Now, as far as the show itself, we're gonna move on to this past weekend fights. We're finally gonna cover that. Just reminded myself. I did not put up the post-reaction fights of the Dylan White and that card, and there's who fought on the Maxim card, but that fight, I just realized I never uploaded it, so we're gonna be late. But my thoughts, the RRT boxing shorts, are on that weekend of fights are there. I believe I talk about Lawrence Okoli. I think I talk about that fight. So if you like the sauce, the RRT boxing show right here on the RRT boxing show, Mr.A is a fan of the sauce. You can see he's rough and rugged, but a fan of himself. We're pulling up this past weekend's card. Besides just the main events, Jose Ramirez, Hooker, Farmer. We're going to talk a little bit of all the networks, or both networks. And there is one fight that I would like to talk about real quick. Quick off subject, but as I was flipping through the dates, I saw the flag. I gotta talk about it from the little highlights I seen. So if there is more footage of the fight out there, if I find it, we're definitely gonna do a full fight review on it, because I do cover women's boxing. I try my best. I like this women's boxer, Daniela Bermuzda, whatever. I forgot it. I probably butchered her name, but she beat Acuna. Her fight was this past weekend. And from that quick little highlights I seen of it, she got a nice little size on her. She's I think she's like 24 now, 26 maybe. She's starting to get a little thicker in her arms because she beat Acuna with the pressure. And with that pressure she puts, with the size she's getting, the highlights, she was putting bombs on this girl. So Daniela Bermuzda, that fight, if we would talk about that later on, but it's glad to see she is dropping bombs, whooping ass. Definitely keep watching her RRT boxing show. So if you do like some women's boxing for your first time viewers, I do drop some women's boxing out there. Fucking Jessica Bop, another Argentinian, great mover. Double RT Boxing Show. Mr. A's favorite style is the movers. Like I said, we're all junkies here. You might like fucking heavyweights with a fucking straight arm jab. You might like little bantamweights with fucking body shots with a double left hook. We're all junkies. We got our style. Mr. A's favorite style is movers. Jessica Bop, female Argentinian champion. That girl can move and stick, dude. Good at style. If you don't know her, if you just want to start grabbing female boxing, grab Jessica Bop, check out some videos, and then when her next fight comes, you're like, okay, this bitch is pretty bad. Now, on to fucking this past weekend's fights, which was Daniel Barboza. But we had Carlos Ramirez and Tank Davis. We're going to talk about that fight first. That card. I did not watch the Miller and Corrales fight. So I can't. If that's what you're here for, I'm sorry to disappoint you. You could turn me off now. But thank you for your time and support. You know, you can leave the meeting room. The Double RT Boxing, the Junkie Rehab doors are always open. For those who want to continue to sit in this session, your seat is always there for you as well. Thank you for your time and support. Talking on that show, Gamboa and Martinez. I did say if Gamboa was going to do anything, it'd be the first half of the fight, and I favorite Martinez the second half of the fight. And you saw Martinez get fucked up with the same shit Lomachenko got him with. Turning, bow, right hand, straight right hand, and again he goes fucking stupid. So was it just, hey, take a fight, or did life just play into words as rumors and rumbles of a Gamboa and Tank? You know, spectacular knockout. Was Gamboa just motivated? Like, hey, it's out there. I'm going to whoop ass. Hey, who knows? Who knows? This is a Double RT Boxing Show. I'm your host, Mr.A. We just ready talking that boxing. But Gamboa looked better than what he's been looking. You know, it's not like he looks stupendous, but if you're going to compare that performance to his past 2, 3, okay, his a lot better. Oh, see, just pulling up on BoxRec, the Maryland State Athletic Commission does the same thing as New York, suspended. So right after the fight, they suspend you. You can't fight here until you get checked out. Make sure you're good to go. You know, I remember when people first started seeing that on BoxRec, suspended. People were like, oh shit, they're busted for something. I remember Deontay Wilder, his says suspended. It's that safety shit. You know, like, hey, your license is temporarily suspended from fighting in this city until you can pass a hospital check. You know, we don't want shit happening here, but so we don't need that shit. We don't need it. Remember when it was like, well, it was a little alarming when Boxing Rec kind of first started doing that shit. Everyone kind of like, what the fuck? Deontay Wilder is suspended by, was it New York State? I think they're like, oh, everyone's like, what the fuck? They're like, that's when people start realizing, no, commissions are cracking down on that, trying their best to cover their ass during that safety shit. So it looks like Maryland is picking it up as well. But you look at Gervonta Davis, that dude could fight next week. And as you see, he only did 2 rounds, so he has no problem fighting again. But the big old question is like, who? They howling for him. They howling for Gervonta Davis. Who? They howling because Crickwork. Now, the stoppage was fine. I'm not going to argue that he was rocking the shit out of Ricardo Nunez on about 2-3 clean punches. One that sent him into the ropes. I think maybe like 2 more hooks within that. One was definitely maybe when the referee kind of swooped in there, but those 2 punches, the ropes held him up, so you could at least you could argue just a knockdown and then see where he's at 8. You could argue that if you want to argue anything, should have gave him an 8 count, cause the ropes held him up. that is a perfect argument for the Ricardo Nunez and Javante Date fight. In my opinion, but given that what just previously happened in uh, Rhode Island, what was it? They say it was in Baltimore as well. The Maxim's death. So it was within the Maryland. What was it, Maryland Inspection Committee, whatever, boxing committee. What was it? What was it? Sanctioned under the Maryland State Athletic Commission. So until 8/10/2019 is Gamboa, so he has to get something checked out. So again, Javante Davis, the whole question: where does he go from here? Mayweather came out and said Gary Russell is not a 130 opponent, but he's a solid fighter. He's a solid fighter. So what? You can't talk. Tank Davis is, to me, whatever you said about Anthony Yard, you gotta say about Tank Davis. Whether you like him, the motherfucker's the goods. He looks the goods. He has the skills. You said the same thing about Yard because these guys are identical. They're identical. They look the part. They look like they're gonna fuck somebody up. They've been proven they've been fucking somebody up. But we need to see you fuck that somebody up. I get it. The Double RT Boxing Show, I said it. It's about the best fighting the best. On this show, the lingo is number 1 through 15. We get it. Now, why I harp on it, because these guys aren't just number 13, number 4. Yard's been number 1 for a while, 2 for a while, and he's there. Bow, he's getting his shot. Now it's up to if Kovalev is gonna dodge him. Try, but it's not looking so. But Davis, on the other hand, 2-time champion Davis, what is he doing? What the fuck is Davis doing? He's been champ, and who the fuck has he fought? He's hanging his hat on, I was going to fight Abner Maris. Oh, I got my mandatory. We get it. The Double RT Boxing Show, we get it. Mandatories, we're not going to argue against. Spence fucking had the Mexican cat. We get it. The body shot guy. We get it. But I don't recall Davis ever calling out a unification. I don't recall him calling out anybody. And honestly, when it comes to Tank Davis, I think of 2 things, honestly. As career-wise, like I said, we know as the fighter, we know what he got. But as okay, you say, what's resume? What has he done in his career? Blah blah blah. When you Tank Davis, boom, he got his belt by Pedraza. We know that. And listening to the Boxing Voice, they have it on interview. Pedraza could not make that weight. He was ready to give that belt up anyway and move on. At the 22nd hour, fucking Team Mayweather called him hey, make one last defense of that belt against Tank. We'll pay you. We get your name. You sell us your name. We pay you for it. And basically, that's what happened. He says it in the interview. I wasn't gonna fight at that weight no more. I couldn't make the weight. I was gonna give up the belt, but they called me instead, and they gave me a good amount of money. It's in the interview, so that's how he became champion. And you question why Pedraza kind of just I don't give a fuck. He went out there. He tried, but fuck it, I'm not gonna over try. I can't make this weight. I'm gonna go out hard and just go, because if I try and last this fight, I'm gonna get fucked up. I can't make this weight. He fucked himself up, made the weight, got paid, sold his name, and Davis won the championship. If you see after that fight, Pedraza immediately runs around somewhere in the back room, catches Davis, shakes his hand, thanks him for the opportunity. Thanks him. He runs over very like, oh, thank you. So shows you what Pedraza thought highly of, how highly he thought of that fight. So that's what I think of Tank Davis, how he became champion, and two, fucking Lomachenko's name. He starts crying about communication and how Mayweather is doing them. Mayweather said, "Well, I was talking to Bob Arum about a Lomachenko fight, and fucking Tank Davis all of a sudden just don't like the way he's being treated. He was the man, couldn't get fights. He didn't like how he was being handled, wasn't being told what's happening. He wanted big fights, but just all right. I was talking about Lomachenko with Bob Arum. Now I think I need to go somewhere else." That's what I remember. You wanted big fights. You didn't like how you're being handled, and Lomachenko was brought up into your name. It was too big for you. You didn't want it. Something, along those terms, because you were unhappy with Mayweather team when I remember Lomachenko's name was brought up. And then once that talk kind of went quiet, everything was okay. That's what I have a vaguely remember of Gervonta Davis's career. Those two things. Like I said, we're not talking about skills. When you say, oh, fucking, I'm pretty sure I didn't watch much Pernell Whitaker, but if I say Pernell Whitaker, boom, something in his career, whether it's a fight or so-and-so, something moment, shit talking moment, Tyson saying, oh, I'm going to eat your kids and I'm fucking make you love me and all, that shit happens in someone's career you remember. What I remember in Tank Davis is fucking those two things. So, skill-wise, yes, is there. Done something in the ring that caught me off guard to like, okay, yeah, we shall see. Like I said, he beat what was it, Jesus Sayar. They brung him up in weight after like a year or so inactivity, or one fight in between. Brung him up in weight, whooped his ass. Hugo Ruiz, a late replacement, we get it. Francisco Fonseca had trouble making weight, lost his belt on scales. To me, he had a hard time with that fight. Same as Ricardo Nunez. You could say he said fuck it. He was walking him down, which was obvious. He was doing. He was playing boss in that second round. Was it because Ricardo Nunez was tagging him? So he said, fuck, I'm going to go into boss mode to kind of play with it, fuck up the momentum, his confidence, because he was tagging him in that second round. That's why he got caught. He got cocky because he was tagging Gervonta Davis, holding him like, yeah, I got a pow. He was, man, like, it was looking interesting. It was looking like Francisco Fonseca, but with a more confident fighter. Ricardo Nunez had a long 1-2, and it seemed like a good enough timing to catch Tank, to make it an interesting fight. Who knows how it would have turned out. Maybe he would have still got knocked out. It's ready talk that boxing. That it came from a defenseless fighter. Unfortunately, this ain't football. You don't get penalized for that shit. You say go on. And he got cracked being some stupid shit on defenseless. Protect yourself at all times. So, questionable moments in the career of Tank Davis. That's all we're saying. Questionable moments in the career of Tank Davis. So, them mentioning Gary Russell not an opponent. He's not a 130. Like that, they brung up the I think it's Jesus Cuellar. One fight or a year off. Brung him up. Took an ass whooping, I think 2-3 rounds, body shot him. And then everyone talked about how great it was. Tank looked sharp. Punches were flying, combination was there, footwork was there. What we know of Tank was there. But Gary Russell can't come up. But they did say come up and make some noise if Tank Davis is still there. What noise do fucking Gary Russell gotta make? Really, like, he ain't gonna do shit at 135 to make any noise that he hasn't done at 126. It ain't shit. You know, he's with PBC, they with PBC. If they want Gary Russell to make noise, they fucking assign him fights to make him make noise. When he fights, he goes out there, he do his thing. So they're like, oh, make some noise. Well, fucking PBC, make the fight. Make the fight, PBC. You know, they to me, they dropping seeds, though. I think that's what they're doing. You know, dropping seeds. Gary Russell could be saying, like, hey, I'll bounce. I will bounce. We were doing Mr.A stuff because there's a segment in the show that's called Mr.A's Fight Maker. We take a fighter and we talk about 3 good fights for that fighter or 2, but within the weight class, maybe a 1 up, 1 down. It's a fight maker. It's a nice little boxing talk segment. It's called Mr.A's Fight Maker right here on the RRT Boxing Show. So thank you for your time and support when you tune into those. For instance, it would be a Gary Russell versus a Tank Davis. Stuff like that. A fight maker. You know, ones that don't quite get the public attention. Like this, Mr.A's Fight Maker. I'm grabbing shit out of thin air. Bivol, Smith, shit like that. Thank you for your time and support. Now on to the Hookah and Ramirez. You know, the Davis, like I said, that Davis card, great entertainment for television. It did good views. It was knockouts. It was exciting for the person who turned on for boxing. You know, like if you're a boxing fan and you're watching it with some people, your girl who's not a fucking boxing fan, and she's just watching it with you, like, oh shit, this fool got knocked out. Oh shit, this fool got knocked out. She was entertained. So next time she fucking talking with her friend, she's like, oh, I saw that fight, my boyfriend, blah blah blah. That fool got knocked out, so fucking blah blah. The word just spread somehow, and shit happens. You know what I mean? So that one person that it needs to be watched by, that action was the action was there. So who was the names and everything hot? Was it a sexy card? Not really, but remember, it was Gervonta Davis's homecoming, and a mandatory fight happened to be what a lot of those. What was he? What was Nunez? Was he Panamanian? You know, those foreign fighters, they whoop ass regionally, get high rankings by you gotta guess that these organizations have some type of point system. And you say, who are these motherfuckers that's always getting these high rankings? They fight often in their regional countries whooping ass. You gotta remember, the state fighters don't stay active. So as these guys are building regional points, they're getting up in the rankings. Are they better than the state fighters? No, but the fact that they fight often or more than the state fighters, they're getting knockouts over bums, or they're getting, you know, wins, you know, so they're getting points and they're moving up the rankings. You know, that's what. How else can you explain how the rankings are? You be like, oh, what the fuck is this guy? Well, you gotta remember the organizations, they have belts out there. They have those belts. Again, we will talk about it, the internationals, continentals. So as they see all these countries fucking fighting, it's not their fault that they're being more active than the hot name states guy. They're getting the points, and then when they get the chance proven, hey, they get their ass whooped, because yes, even though the state guys ain't as hot, but they're still active. And we saw that in Tevin Farmer and Francois. You know what I mean? We saw a very hot regional 46-1-1 Guilherme Francois get dominated by Tevin Farmer. We saw it. We saw what a good regional fighter who fights often, you know, quality domestic dominant good competition as far as a continental belt wise, European belt wise. He fought often and fought uh, good domestic and high like B level, C level worldwide competition. Got those points, climbed up a competition, and fought Tevin Farmer. It wasn't the goods, not at all, But the spunk was there. He had spunk. Tevin Farmer looked good, punching, just slipping and sliding, punch selection. Uh, I gotta say, he didn't look as tired as I always complain. You could beat Tevin Farmer. Cause again, I had him losing that Ogawa fight. I had him losing like rounds 5 through 9. So he lost rounds in between there. I just thought his style is his kryptonite. That's the only thing I can find wrong with Tevin Farmer. As an athlete who fights like that, you have to be conditioned to master your style. And I don't think he was as conditioned for what his style required. He knew what to do. He was very good at it, but he was gassing out on fights. And I thought that's the only way you could catch Tevin Farmer in like 5 through 8, somewhere in there. If you can make the fight close, those pre-rounds, somewhere 5 and 8, perhaps 9, you could take a good lead on him. But as he was champion and he was defending that belt, I started seeing, okay, this dude is getting his stamina in check. And you saw, even he said that's why his power was there. That's why he was able to stand toe to toe with these guys and bang a little more. He was able to have that stamina for strength to do that. And now he looks pretty damn dominant. You can't really. And the performance he put on Francois was just going. The dude was going. To me, he fixed his biggest flaw. If you had to find something like how can we beat Tevin Farmer, because the dude has the footwork to fucking be in you and fucking turn you and do all that. He's pretty crafty enough to escape that hold reset. He could box from the outside. You're gonna have to pressure him because he. I don't see too many people outboxing Tevin Farmer. Seriously, in that division. Seriously. I know everyone's saying Tank Davis. Tank Davis. I don't see Tank Davis slow pace beating Tevin Farmer. I don't see it. He's gonna press Tevin Farmer. Can you sit here and honestly say Gervonta Davis will win a slow paced fight against Tevin Farmer? No. Tevin Farmer in a slow paced fight is gonna move around the ring on him. He'll pick him apart. I think he'll pull a Floyd on Berto. I think he'll do shit like that on him. Gervonta Davis is gonna have to be not saying that. Yeah, if you're gonna make comparisons, to me this fight Gervonta Davis and Tevin Farmer, because can't really talk about the Francois. He just beat the shit out of Francois, picked him apart. He didn't get no knockdown, but it's okay. When you, like I said, if you're a boxing junkie, maybe that's what you want. You want knockdowns. Hey, I'm sorry you didn't get your fix. But like I said, this is the Boxing Rehab, known as the RRT Boxing Show. We love everything. Again, Mr.A.'s favorite styles, movers and boxers. I like Tevin Farmer. Does he? You could probably still pressure him and beat him. He gets hit. The way he turns. Every fighter who turns leaves their head open, but he's as good as a boxer can be without the natural gaps of getting fucking knocked out. Tevin Farmer looks the goods. He improved. The only thing I always criticize him for, his gas tank. And it's not that he was in bad shape. It's just what he does good requires a well-shaped body, a well-conditioned body. All that feinting, moving, footwork. Now, whether he slows it down, uses it a little more wisely, who knows? I ain't a boxer. I don't know quite how to do it, but that fool sets up a lot of angles, traps. He's always moving. So regardless whether it's an output that's he's using energy. He is using energy to set up an energy output, and then sometimes the setup of an energy to an energy output increases to a harder energy output. So sometimes this guy can have up to 3 energy outputs at one offensive outburst. So this guy is always on a gas tank. It's a good it's fun. It's entertaining to watch him, and I think him and Tank Davis, there's no way I see Gervonta Davis beating Tevin Farmer in a slow fight. Tevin Farmer will have energy on that fool for days. For days. Davis will have to press him. And in doing so, like I said, Tevin Farmer, he's hittable. He's hittable. He ain't fucking Houdini out there. They both show tremendous counterpunching. Tank Davis got some counters for your ass. The hand speed. It's interesting. The juice to me in that, because we obviously we know the power and the non-power of the two fighters, but the counter punching of Gervonta Davis, and like I said, as I just explained, all that energy and setting traps of Tevin Farmer, that moving, him trying to set Davis up with his feints, that is going to be a nice ass stage to watch. Like, oh shit, these guys are about to get done. That's going to be some clean setup by Farmer, and if Davis is able to counter those traps, counter the counters, it has the boxing juice to be a really good fight. I think people are just right now kind of looking into the beef of Farmer and Davis, what they've been saying. It's a good fight. It's a real good fight. I think it's more than that power of Davis. I think Farmer is going to test the shit out of Davis. I'm saying right now, I'm going 51-49 Farmer. That's what I'm going with. Yep, 51-49 Farmer. I think that's a real tossing fight. Real tossing fight. So now moving on to, I'm sorry, I went back to that. I mean, I went to, kind of back on the Tank, but as I said, the international business, international fighters, it's out there for Daniel Jacobs to make that international business. He'll be beating the likes of Gouliman Francois. You see who's out there running shit international. Fighters, go make that international check, especially for you fighters who don't want to train too hard, or you just want to stay busy. Go fight a Francois over in fucking France. Fill up a fucking bull arena, Go fight out there. Make a nice little name for yourself international. Spread the word. I'm pretty sure they can make a nice 10 mil. I'm pretty sure they can. Now, on to the main event themselves. Jose Carlos Ramirez defeating and becoming a unified champ. The WBC and the WBO super lightweight title. Now, I did the footage, the video never got uploaded along with the Dylan White Rivas card and whatever else, and I guess the breakdown of this fight, Jose Ramirez and the Hooker, those never got uploaded. I made them, but I did pick Hooker to win this fight. I thought he had the reach and to be able to keep Ramirez at distance enough, and I thought he'd be able to bang in his body when he needed to. But the fact that Ramirez pounced on him pretty early, not the footstep fall, but before that, he was hitting Hooker. He was touching him good. Maybe not hitting him, but he was touching him good to be so damn early in a homecoming fight. He was getting touched well. So fucking Hooker was shook from that quickly, and that stepping on the foot shit didn't help. But the fact that he got touched well and then he started getting hit well, it was a bad homecoming, and that's homecoming. Hooker and Hurd lost. Javante Davis won. You know why is that? Look at the opponents. Hurd took on fucking J Rock in your first fight home. You know, a number one top title challenger. You know, fucking Hooker took on a champion, and Davis took on a number one for someone we never heard of. You see the difference in how to handle a homecoming fight. Say what you want to say, but the TMT, they're going to make him a star. And hey, you question it, but you see how the shit works, and it works. Homecoming fight on TV. This is how you get ratings. This is how you get views. PBC did that right. Fighters, promotions chose that right. These guys wanted these fights on their homecoming. They say they had balls, say they wanted to go. Homecoming's gone wrong, you know. Hooker, like I said, he got touched well and early often in round one, the foot stomp or the footstep, and then they just start trading. And the jab that I thought Hooker was going to have, he kind of got forced out of it, you know. Ramirez was timing it well enough to counter it with a left. He was landing some of those over the left or after a counter, whatever it was. He was landing the left after the jab, over the jab. So enough to make Hooker hesitant on throwing his own jab. The counter was there. So with the hesitation being there and Ramirez doing his fucking waist movement, head movement, light on his feet, jabbing himself in, something that Hooker was hesitant to do, he was able to make it a more inside fight than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be moments of an inside fight, not a inside fight, you know. And Hooker kind of had to step up to do it. You know, the pressure of that home crowd, I think, kind of cooked in. You know, a lot of people came out for that fight, man. Like that was a good promoted fight. At least, you know, for they put it in his hometown. You know, it showed out that that's how you make a star. You burn the fire, you start the fire, and then watch it burn. You know, it has to start somewhere. Hooker was a world traveler. Came home, had a nice little fire started. Ramirez put that shit out. That would have been a nice moment for Maurice Hooker because right now the zone need something hot besides Canelo and Triple G. They need a hot name. Ramirez from ESPN just came and took they shit. Without that belt, Maurice Hooker ain't hot. He's just ain't. You know, is he a good fighter? Yes, he just he ran. I gotta say though, how much? Because he is a good fighter, but I really got introduced into Maurice Hooker right here on the RRT Boxing Show, season 4. Really, the big time. I believe it might be the first time when he won the fight, when he beat Flanagan, or maybe one fight before that is when the show started covering him. And I picked Flanagan to beat Maurice Hooker. I didn't think much of him outside the jab. You know, I didn't think he had it. I thought he was hittable, but he slowly showed. He very surprisingly just destructed Flanagan to me. And it wasn't Zapata. Saucedo, he showed he could bang. So I was like, all right, he has the ability to keep you on the outside and bang when he has to. So he was buying me. He sold me. I thought he was going to do it against Ramirez, but how much did Maurice Hooker really change? Did he change becoming a champion, or it just, hey, that's who he is, and Ramirez had a nice game plan? You know, it has seemed as Ramirez got a little a little wrinkle in his step. I don't remember seeing Ramirez as light and quick at the waist. I remember him being a little more upright. A little easier to hit. I could be wrong, but I think well, he's with Ramirez. I mean, Garcia. I think they put a little wrinkle in his approach and defense. I think, I think I noticed that. But like I said, that was a another homecoming gone wrong. Hooker, he was getting caught with that left all night. Straight lefts. It was a counter lefts. It was within the rumbles. Those guys were exchanging, but surprisingly, you know, I think we all figured if the fight really was an inside battle, Ramirez would win that. Especially being on the ropes just fucked all that shit up. But I think because he was on the ropes was the center ring pressure. Uh, Hooker never won the center ring fight. You think on the jab, turning him, you control center ring, keeping Ramirez out there. Ramirez got inside, took control of center ring. If you can't control center ring, you're forced into the ropes, and Ramirez did it. He got in, kept countering it, turned the inside fight, and like I said, we all figured he'll win that fight. He lose the outside fight, win the inside fight. He won the outside fight and won the inside fight. He was able to jab himself in, took control of it, and got Hooker out in a very. I didn't have the fight that close, but to me it was a very competitive whitewash. I have Ramirez winning all rounds. You could maybe give Hooker 2 at most. At most, I had it 4-2. If I want to be, if I find something to give to Hooker, but I just watching it, I believe I had it like 6-0 Ramirez in a very competitive fight. To me, competitive whitewashing is to me the perfect example of that term is Sean Porter and Keith Thurman. My point of view, I had Thurman winning that pretty wider than the scores was, but to me that fight was all over the place. For the rounds, a lot of people had Sean winning. I thought it was competitive, but Keith did better, so I didn't give it to Sean. But like I said, it was a competitive fight, but Thurman won. I saw um, Ramirez and Hooker as a competitive whitewash, and Hooker just got caught with the pressure. He got caught being forced into the fight he did not want, and Ramirez went home to ESPN as the unified world super lightweight champion, WBC, WBO. Very interesting. Very interesting. 140. So you figure WBA champions out there. Regis. And who is the missing link? Josh Taylor, which goes down in the WBSS. God damn. The 140 is about to be a nice spotlight. And you know what's going to be fucked up? Maybe not, but they're going to try and fuck this division up and ask them to move up and fight someone at 147. Oh, so you want to fight Spencer Crawford? You want to fight those guys? And to be honest, that just might happen for Terrence Crawford. Because I believe, wasn't Regis doing business with Top Rank before he entered that tournament? They didn't. I believe. I could be. I don't know. Was it Showtime? I'm not too sure where the fuck I seen Regis fight at. I do not know. But Jose Ramirez is definitely top rank. Definitely top rank. And if you don't, Jose Ramirez build his name up, what he's doing, winning a unified champion at 140, undisputed. Jose Ramirez moving up to take on former 140 undisputed champion Terrence Crawford. The last two undisputed champions going head to head. You don't think Bob Arum will sell that on ESPN? Jose Ramirez and Terrence Crawford, the last two undisputed super lightweight champions going at it. They'll sell the shit out that on ESPN. Terrence Crawford needs an opponent pretty badly. We see that. We see that. And what better boxing headlines can you grab in a sport when you're trying to sell it, when you're trying to give it to a casual, when you're trying to throw something like, hey, this is it, this is what you want to watch it for? What better information, details, juice, what better diamonds and jewels you're going to show than Terrence Crawford with 4 belts? Jose Ramirez got those same 4 belts, and now they're going to fight to see who's the best guy with those 4 belts. Where else can you find a better story to sell against someone who's never seen boxing? But hey, this is the one fight you should watch. These both guys got a lot of belts, and they're gonna fucking go at it. Not such a bad idea if you're desperate for a fight over in Top Rank for your best fighter. Just saying. So now, before we go, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your time and support. The old Dylan White B sample. The old B sample, it just ain't there. It just ain't there. And I really do. How much of the people just want to see Dylan White gone? How much? What is the suspension? What do we expect? Now, it's a little mixed. It's a little mixed out there. Gerald Miller came back with one. We get it. Gerald Miller came back eventually. A petri dish. We get that. We get Gerald Miller way. Eventually he came back, but when he first popped dirty, boom, fuck him. There was really no let's see what's happening with Gerald Miller. There wasn't really none. Canelo came out kind of almost dirty. WBC rolled with him quick. He's innocent, but the fans were there was some uproar at least. Innocent. Oh, fuck that. Canelo's guilty. But it was a lot of Canelos getting fair treatment, guilty. But it was a back and forth out there. Jamero Miller, done. Dylan White, to me, is getting a low-level Canelo treatment. There's a lot of people out there saying, damn, Dylan, you fucking... He's getting the Gerald Miller treatment a little bit like, you stupid bastard. We out here cheering for you so fucking hard. Deontay Wilder's a bitch. Deontay Wilder been ducking Dylan White. They out there riding, pushing him. Remember Dylan White showed the whole fucking page. Oh, look at this. Deontay Wilder sent me a text saying like, oh, shut up. I'll freeze you out for 2 years. I ain't got to fight you. I got mandatories I could do. I am not going to fight. Remember he showed that text and shit. Like, oh, Deontay Wilder's a bitch. Talking all that shit. Trying to make his own shit up, how he's been dodged. He's the number 1 mandatory. Fucking avoid it. Then he goes, like I said, you could say, like I said, it's the people out there defending Dylan White, those people, all that shit. Then there's the people saying fuck Dylan White, the ones who say he turned down, or the ones who know, like I said, it's two sides of everyone. We get it. But Dylan White really put himself in, talking shit, saying he's being ducked, and then turning down mandatories, trying to overcome his backstepping. So he was in that position, talking all this shit, finally got a grasp, and it worked for him. Like, okay, cool. I turned down all these mandatories, talked my shit, and I got an interim title shot. And I win it. Talked all that shit. Wilder's ducking me. Turned down many mandatories. Took a nice, smooth, big name, safe route. Easy, recognition names. Lucas Brown, Robert Helenius. Like I said, if you stay busy, you get those organization points to climb the rankings. I get it. It's bullshit. It's stupid. But hey, on the RRT Boxing Show, we talk the boxing, the best versus the best, which is number 1 through 15. That's what the show's about. So fuck, if you don't like it, you're on the wrong fucking boxing rehab. This is what boxing is. 1 through 15. And Dylan White got his points for being active. Not for really, and the fact that he was active with some knockouts, it got him some points. So he was climbing up fast while the other people aren't as active. And it's how it is, you know. Who's going to get the overtime at your job? The guy who busts his ass is always working. More to the guy who's not working. Like, hey, I only want to work 2 days a week. Oh, but how come you ain't giving me more hours now? Now the fucking guy who's working 4 or 5, you're like, hey, shit, I got some extra hours. You want them? Dylan White's fighting more. He's getting higher. He's getting the more hours. He's going up. You know, he's getting the more opportunities. That's the way. It's a fucking job. You know. So Dylan White got himself high, doing a safe name route, easy route with good point systems. Talked his shit, swayed some tough fights, and then pops dirty. But all that back and forth, whatever side you got, it seems like Dylan White got a nice fair share of let's wait for the B sample. Like that, Miller came back, test positive, fucking dirty. No one really gave a fuck what his B sample was. Povetkin, I gotta say, was pretty hard to fuck Povetkin. No one really. It was rumbles out there like, hey, you know, a lot of Deontay Wilder haters saying, hey, let's see what Povetkin's about. But that was about a 60, even maybe a 60-40, maybe. That's being, I say, fuck the fight. Canelo was like, fuck, dude, that shit was like innocent. Miller came back like 80-20, fuck Miller. I'm getting a feeling like this White shit it's not a 50-50. You know, it might be, it's close. It is. I'm saying another, is it a 52-48? 52-48? 53-47? It's close. It's not, it's barely leaning to Dylan White's guilty, but is that what the fuck moment brewing up? Because like I said, you will see my thoughts on the fight of the Dylan White and Rivas. I do talk about his size and his fighting style. I do make references of it, and like I said, this was before the. Like I said, this is a post fight reaction of that card. I just forgot to upload it, and I talk about the different Dylan White, not knowing that the dude is about to pop for a performance enhancement drug. So go back after you watch this show, you know, check out the Dylan White post fight reaction, and it's kind of cool that, you know, like, oh shit, this motherfucker popped dirty, and that's what we're talking about. Not quite popping dirty, but the coincidences within the discussion. Thank you for your time and support. The RRT Boxing Show, Season 4, Episode 1. We are done, my folks. Thank you.